We are good to go.
Good morning, everybody. This is John Smith. I'm with the President of the United States here. I'm talking about COVID. I don't have my mask on today. Oh, don't record that. Good morning, everybody. I don't know if you can see me. God, I'm in the dark today. Just want to appreciate everybody joining in on our video conference here. They've been fast and furious here in the ASPE world. I've been watching them and joining them around the country, and they seem to be like us, at times struggles with people being able to get on these calls because they are on them all day anyway and things like that. So we appreciate everybody getting up this early in the morning and joining us. There are a few new people involved. We do appreciate your participation, and if you have questions, raise your hand or send Jason a chat so he can ask the presenter those questions either during or after his presentation. It's going to tell Mike it's up to him if he wants to take them before or after, or or during. So that's what I want to try to make sure we had some ground rules that just send the written questions or type questions over to Jason. He'll ask them. Not too many announcements. Last month we had a bunch of them. I just want to point out, I think one of the hottest topics we're talking about is the trivia night that's coming up in March. I think after looking at it from our board meeting last week, we're probably going to go ahead and schedule that as a virtual trivia night. That way we can at least have it and hold it, because that's our big fundraiser. I'm going to put together a little group of us are going to have to get together and go after the trivia host and talk about the fun events and how it's held, so that we all know the ground rules, so we can explain it to our participants. Other than that, we have a lot of things that have happened this last year. Obviously, this COVID has changed the world and how we operate. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and talk to Everett and have Everett introduce our guest speaker. But before that, I wanted to ask the question of everybody and see if anybody knows this answer. Do you know why estimators have binoculars in their cars? Anybody know that answer?
No.
No? Well, Mike, if your mom taught you right, you should have a pair in your car, because your mom taught me to carry those around so I can see what the competition's doing, because I can't drive in their front gate. So,
all right.
Tell your mom that very much. That's one thing I took home from her. So,
we use webcams now. Yeah.
Good. Okay, well, go ahead.
Drones.
Yeah, go ahead. Everett, would you introduce your guest speaker here? And go ahead.
Our guest speaker today is Mike Stewart. He's with McCarthy. He's one of our senior estimators on the pre-con side. He is also, I guess you want to say, a part-time project pre-con director too, right, Mike?
Feels like it, yeah.
Mike puts together bids. I work with him I do the electrical side for him on his projects, and he puts the packages together, gets it reviewed, and submits to owners. He's one of our key people that basically communicates with the sub world and with the owners through various parts and pieces of our new communication world, going virtual and digital and all that. So take it away, Mike.
Okay. Let me try sharing my screen again here. You guys see that all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, great. Well, thank you for inviting me to talk about this today. I'd like to first off start by introducing McCarthy. So I'm calling this, so you guys can see it. Okay, I'm calling this pre-con and estimating in a pandemic era with a focus on communication. Before I get started, I'd like to talk a little bit about McCarthy. As you know, as you probably know, but since this is a McCarthy branded presentation, I like to start out with it. We are a 150-year-old company focused on safety and quality. And we are ranked as the 9th largest domestic builder according to ENR this year. 5,000 salaried employees. We have 15 offices across the country. And we are 100% employee owned. We always talk about different tools and strategies. This slide kind of is a corporate slide that highlights a few of them. Starting at the top, we've got our total stations. We like to do 3D layout in the field. Laser scanning is real big. We like to laser scan for existing conditions and for as-builts. We use virtual reality in the field to help uncover hidden conditions and to see the building before it's built. Drones, of course, are real big nowadays. We use them for the cameras, but we also outfit them with laser scanners and infrared cameras laser scanners to track progress, and the infrared cameras to uncover issues. So that's one of our newest tools. Underground mapping is, I think Castle is probably the best in the country at underground mapping. So that's definitely a big tool that we like to use. Virtual reality in the design phase to show clients their building before it's built. I like to do that. And my favorite, 3D coordination. You build it on the computer before you build it for real to make sure everything fits, because not everything fits. And we always have to move things, and it's easier to do it on the computer before you're in the field. So that's a little bit about McCarthy and some of our tools and strategies. Today, I'd like to start off by talking about pre-con versus estimating, because the title of the presentation is Pre-con and Estimating in a Pandemic Era, and I just want to differentiate the two. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. You guys are professional estimators, so you probably know already, but just to kick things off right, I'm going to talk about the importance of communication, because that's like the other title of this, and at a basic level, I think that's mainly what we do is communicate, and that is the toughest thing to do in this pandemic era. Information technology is how we communicate in this pandemic era. It's how we're communicating right now. So I definitely want to hit on a few things that I've noticed with IT that have changed since the lockdown. And that affects our conversation in meetings, and it affects how we share files. So I'll hit on those topics, and we'll end with some Q&A. And I've added 3 key takeaways this morning, so I'll make sure I remember those as we go. So first off, how is pre-con versus different than estimating? Well, pre-con is kind of like the overall pre-construction design phase services, we like to call it, and it includes estimating. So pre-con includes estimating, budget management, planning, market research, labor analysis, constructability reviews, coming up with your site logistics plan and scheduling, and that ties into the virtual design and construction. All of the, we do our logistics planning in 3D a lot. Sometimes you have 4D logistics planning, 5D construction cost modeling. So pre-con encompasses all of that stuff in addition to estimating. Estimating, I feel, is more of the numbers, the dollars. It's also focused on subcontracting and procurement, because that's where you get your dollars from. You got to reach out to the market to get a lot of dollars, to get accurate dollars. And cost trending also. As the job trends, you are tracking the costs and keeping track of the trends. And so here we have estimators and we have pre-con people. And they're really one and the same, but the estimators will focus on the numbers and feed them to the pre-con people. And the pre-con people will interface with the owner more and run the meetings and kind of bring everything together from different estimators. So it's kind of pre-con versus estimating in my mind anyway. Of course, they're both affected during this pandemic era. So our job as estimators is basically communication. You know, we take information from designers and communicate it to the subcontractors and to the market and suppliers, and we ask for pricing information back, and they communicate back to us the pricing, and we put it together in a pretty little spreadsheet and communicate it to the owner. So it's a lot of communication back and forth. So, you know, how is our jobs affected by the pandemic? Any talk of communication, I got to talk about masks, because this has been the biggest change since the lockdown, is trying to communicate with a mask on. So this is one of my favorite masks. I know we probably didn't come here to talk about masks today, but it's a big part of what we do nowadays. So I thought I'd just mention it real quick. You got to have a mask with a nose piece if you're going to wear glasses, because I feel like it seals off the fog from getting up into the glasses. I like these masks because they hang around your neck and they're always with you, so you don't forget them. I have gotten up from my desk. We don't wear our masks in our office, but inside like your closed office. But when you get up to walk down the hallway, you got to put it on. And I've walked down the hallway a couple times and been like, oh no, you know. So this way, it's always with you, and you can pull it up real quick. We keep these paper masks at the door for people that forget, and they work pretty well because they go on and off really quick, you know. I don't always wear glasses, but if you're gonna wear glasses, I recommend some good fog. I have some anti-fog stuff. This stuff I actually use is called cat crap, and I couldn't find it this morning, but it comes in like a little bag and it's a little white. I hope it doesn't actually have cat feces in it, but it does the best job. This fog stuff didn't really work too good for me this morning, but I guess it's better than nothing. Yeah, it was real cold this morning, so they fogged up real good on me. I still think the nose pieces help. I've used the bandana style masks before, and I feel like it blows more exhaust up into the glasses. So I try not to wear glasses whenever I can, but I do like to wear sunglasses when it's sunny. And I don't know what to say about masks, but it doesn't sound like they're going away anytime soon. It's written into a lot of our safety plans. And I've had people come in the office before and say, you know, we'll sit in the conference room, we'll close the door, and they'll say, okay, now can I take my mask off? You're putting me in a tough spot here. It's like saying, you know, if we're out on the job site, can I take my safety glasses off? If you have to, but it's our safety policy. You're gonna get me in a tough spot if the safety guy walks by. And I mean, it's important. We should all wear our masks. So in general, I would say just read the room, because it's kind of an awkward question. Can I take my mask off? Just read the room. If everybody has their mask on, leave your mask on, you know. So that's all I have to say about masks. But that is probably the biggest change, the biggest noticeable change since the pandemic is everybody has masks, and it's tough to talk. So any talk of our job in the last couple of years, we should probably talk about the evolution of how we do our jobs. Designers used to use pencils and blueprints, you know, and then we had 2D CAD, and that was great because the blueprints are easier to read, and they don't get blue stuff all over your fingers. And now we have these full-blown 3D panometric models that have a lot more data in them. But back when we had blueprints, and we still have blueprints, I mean, there's some around, but we used to have a plan room here, which was like a special room for guests by the front door. And subcontractors would come in just randomly and go to the plan room to look at we printed out the full big drawings, and they would scale them off. And if they were there, we'd go and meet with them, and, you know, we would talk about how to structure their bids. And we would be, you know, leaning over the plan table, shoulder to shoulder, breathing the same, you know, breathing over each other. And I don't see that ever coming back. That's fine. You know, I'd be fine with that. But yeah, we probably won't do that again. Now that we have 3D stuff and just electronic drawings in general, we don't really need to use scales and rulers and stuff like that. We use computers, and I did a screenshot of on-screen takeoff and Bluebeam, my two biggest programs to measure things. So instead of having plan rooms, now we have conference rooms, and with big screen TVs, and that way you can zoom in on drawings and zoom in on details and make them real big so everybody can see them. And I like that better. We've been doing that for some years now, but especially now in the pandemic era, it makes a lot more sense because you can spread out in a conference room, and you're not looking at the same thing. You can look at a big TV from farther away. And our desks have changed. I mean, we no longer have plan tables. Although my desk is still a plan table, I just lay it flat. I've laid it flat for years, and I took the pencil tray off because pencils don't roll down it anymore now that it's flat. But yeah, we have multiple monitors. I've been rocking the 3-screen setup for some years now, and highly recommend it. I can have my slideshow on one screen and my notes, and then the Zoom on the other screen. Once you do it, you can't go back, I'll tell you what. So communications during a pandemic. Let's go back one. There's a few different types of communications. You have phone communications. So the next biggest things besides a mask that I've gotten since the pandemic are the little earbuds, and I use these almost all day. I think they last like 6 hours to a charge, but they recharge when you put them away, and they're noise canceling. It's awesome. I mean, when I put them in and put on the noise canceling part, it's like I'm in my own little world, and it's great because I've been working in a lot of different places. I work out on job sites, and sometimes I'll just have one little corner of the trailer, and I can just get in the zone. Whenever I'm working from home, I've got kids, and so I really need to zone out, and I can kind of put those in and hide in a corner. And here in the office too. Sometimes it gets noisy, and even when it's not noisy, I can listen to music and try to, stay sane. But we also have, written communication, email and text. I have been texting a lot more since the pandemic started. I think it's because I'm using my cell phone more, that I'm not near my desk phone. I used to forward my desk phone to my cell phone, but now I just use my cell phone exclusively because I didn't get the caller ID whenever it forwarded from my desk phone. It just said McCarthy, and I don't know who it is. But if somebody calls my cell phone directly, the voicemail and the call log and everything is set up. So I might get rid of my desk phone completely. And my cell phone works with my earbuds. So, but I have been texting a lot more with people now that everybody has cell phones, and it's easier. And then video, we're using Zoom right now, but McCarthy likes to use Blue Jeans, which is, not sure who makes Blue Jeans, but the audio on it is really good. It's a really dumb name though. I don't like the name Blue Jeans, but whatever. There's GoToMeeting, WebEx, Microsoft Teams, Webinar Jam. Those are just the ones that I could think of, but it seems like every time I get invited to a meeting, it's something else. It's not like everybody uses the same thing. Zoom seems pretty popular, but there's a lot of different ones. And then, of course, we can still communicate in person with social distancing. And finding the right space for that is difficult. So we've got, just a few conference rooms that can fit more than like a couple people, given that we're trying to keep 25% capacity. So it's tough to schedule those rooms, and even when you do, sometimes people say they can't meet because they don't want to, or they have kid stuff going on, or homeschooling, and they'd rather do it over Zoom anyway. So that's just something that you got to deal with. Definitely a change since the pandemic. IT is probably the next biggest change since the pandemic. Probably my next biggest takeaway. Internet connections. I've become an internet MacGyver. Trying to understand: do you hardwire or do you do wireless? I recommend doing a speed test. Just Google speed test, and one will come up. sometimes my wireless is faster than my hardwired connection. I think my desk here at McCarthy, the hardwire connection goes through a switch that limits it to 100 meg, which is fast, but the wireless access point in the hallway right out here is a 300 meg wireless access point. So I get a lot faster connection first over Wi-Fi. And you just don't know until you test it. But I've had to use my cell phone hotspot a lot. And just knowing how to do that, like, can I quickly, you know, if the internet goes down right now, how quick can I get back up, running on my cell phone? You know, I got to test those things out and know. Another thing is virtual private networks. We use a VPN to access our servers for security reasons. And it's kind of baked into our company laptops, as people don't even know they're on a VPN, except that it slows your internet down. So you know, if you need to use a VPN, maybe you can disable it and you know, get faster internet. As far as voice communication goes, if you use a cell phone or a desk phone, you know, do you lean it up and use the head crank, or do you use headphones? I recommend headphones, of course, but I think becoming an internet MacGyver and knowing how to access things remotely is a big change in this pandemic era. Oh, there's my slide. Oh, I see, it's got all mixed up. So I think my last slide here, I'd like to talk about how to share files. Most of what we do is, like I said, sharing information, you know, communicating with subcontractors, communicating what the designer gives us, and giving that to suppliers and subcontractors to get pricing, and then and get contracts issued, and then communicating with the owner. So sharing files is a big deal. Plan rooms are gone. We're using all electronic communications now, especially during the pandemic. So cloud file storage is necessary. I use Box, and I really recommend Box Drive. If you use Box, it's a free program that you can download that makes your Box folders look like look just like local folders on your machine. You can search through them using Windows File Explorer, so it looks just like another folder on your desktop, but it's actually Box. So that's great. But there's also Dropbox and AWS and Azure. So there's different ways, but definitely figure out how to share files and how to send links to Box or links to your cloud files to other people. In the field, we use Procore here at McCarthy, but that's similar to BIM 360 or PlanGrid or AConnext, Pro Contractor. We've used that before. And that's what we use for RFIs, submittals, and field reports, change orders. But we also use it for document management so that everybody has the latest and greatest documents. You can have posted sets out there. So we use Bluebeam then to post those sets, really. Bluebeam is probably my favorite program outside of Windows. It is, I think I've heard the story that it was developed at NASA, or the JPL contractor developed it to when they were working on the Mars rovers. So it's really robust, great program. And there's lots of different ways to mark up PDFs. You know, you can mark them up in Paint or Adobe, but Bluebeam is nice and clean, and we use it to slip sheet the drawings and get the latest things on there. Then you can also put comments on it and share those. One thing that Bluebeam is really good at is studio sessions. So as you're adding comments and markups to a PDF, if you're in a studio session, people can see those comments in real time and see those markups in real time and comment on your comments. So we can get a lot done that way using a studio session. I highly recommend that. And then of course there's Office 365, which I'm using right now. It's all of our favorite Microsoft Office programs like PowerPoint and Excel and stuff like that. But it's all in the cloud, and that links with SharePoint and OneDrive, which is kind of like their version of cloud storage. But OneNote, I think, is great. If you guys aren't using OneNote, I highly recommend it. You know, just for taking quick notes. That is also on Office 365, and you can share your OneNote with other people. So we'll have a shared OneNote on a project, so everybody can see the same notes and everybody's on the same page. And that ties with Teams. So Microsoft Teams is a big thing. You can share files. Just of course you can share files using any of these programs, but Teams is more informal for internal communications. It has like a instant message function where you can just send somebody a quick note or a quick question. It has a presence feature, so it tells me that, like, it's telling people right now that I'm presenting, so they know not to bother me. And when I'm done, it'll show that I'm available so that they can bother me. I can say that I'm away or out of the office on there, and people won't bother me, or maybe not. But it's similar to Slack or Trello. We use Trello also for some things. I use it at my house, keep my kids in order, but some people also use Google Hangouts. Google Classroom is something we've had to use for school now. And Yammer, which we use here at McCarthy, but I don't like. It's just another like instant message chat thing. It's kind of like Facebook or something. But so that these tools all kind of tie together. The last one would be Building Connected. So soliciting bids from subcontractors is a really big part of my job, because I, as an estimator, I'm asked how much things cost, and I don't know a lot. I don't know how much things cost. I have to ask other people, how much does this cost? So somebody wants to know how much a window costs, I'm going to call a glazer and ask them. Because the market conditions change. I don't know. I can't stay up to date on all this stuff. So one way we solicit bids on jobs to get a lot of bids and get competitive bids is we've got to keep a database of contacts. And Building Connected is a great one. We've also used SmartBidNet and iSquareFoot. I've also heard of like CoConstruct and HeavyBid and Pipeline. But you got to figure out a way to get the drawings out to a subcontractor community, and we use Building Connected. So the thing, it all ties together now. So Building Connected, the drawings that you're sending to people in Building Connected are linked to Box. So we start with the drawings in Bluebeam, edit them, put them in the right order, package them together, upload them to Box, and Box is linked to Procore and Teams and to Building Connected. So it's all tied together, and it's just real important to know how all these tie together, because they untie each other, and you got to tie them back together frequently. So it's just it's a constant battle, trying to stay on top of all this stuff. But these are the things that I use. Bluebeam, probably my takeaways are going to be masks. Understand how to use masks. Just IT, kind of like how to connect to the internet. Know how to connect to the internet quickly. Know how to do it on your cell phone. Know how to do it wirelessly. Know how to run a hard wire if you need to. Have multiple ways, because one of them is going to break. And if you have to access things with a VPN, know how to do that and how to reload it whenever that doesn't work. I've had to reload my VPN a few times to uninstall it and reinstall it. And tying in with IT, how do all these things work? How does Box work? How does Box Drive work? Practice this stuff, because it's constantly changing. Also, it seems like we always get updates. And I think my favorite purchase since the pandemic is my headphones, noise canceling earbuds. or the over the ear, get some earbuds. You eliminate the neck crank when you're talking on the phone and typing and writing. It helps your neck out, and it's more comfortable, and I can listen to music all day, and I love it. So that is all I've got. Let's go to some Q&A. Well, there's some things coming in. I kind of heard some. Let's see, I'm not sure how to use this.
Mike, I was going to say, first one is on the chat. It was from Dustin Palmer, and he said, do you guys use Bluebeam for takeoffs?
We do. Not as much as on screen. For a while there, I thought Bluebeam was going to take over. Was going to take the reins from on screen, because it has. I mean, if you watch a Bluebeam webinar where they say, you know, here's how to use Bluebeam for takeoff, you'll come away thinking, wow, this is the best. We should use Bluebeam. But it's not as easy to use as on screen. I guess I've used on screen for so many years now that I'm just so used to it, and it's a little simpler. It doesn't have as many features, which is probably good because it's easier to use. It's similar to like looking at drawings or looking at a BIM model in BIM 360. You can just kind of fly around the model and click on things, and it's great. Or a Navis, just simply quantifying things, versus Revit. You know, when you open Revit, there are so many little buttons, and it freaks me out. I'm like, I don't know what half these buttons do. You know, so if you're just trying to get some quick information on screen, I think is best. But I also do use Bluebeam for takeoff. It's just half and half probably.
On the subcontractor level, I would say that on screen or PlanSwift, I think they're pretty much the same thing now. But look at your screen, it seemed like that's the exact same screen that I see on PlanSwift. But at any rate, I say that's a much simpler program to use for takeoffs, just because it's basically looks like a PDF, but the only thing you can really do with it is highlight and put, and scale things off, which is all I need to do in my, finding rectangles for countertops. But so it makes it a lot simpler to do. Depending on what you do, that's a nice, simple, and it's a much more cost-effective program versus Bluebeam, which is a lot more robust. But if you need to do notes and communicate with people in the field for long-term projects, Bluebeam is probably a better approach for a subcontractor or contractor who has that kind of need. So anyway, I'll chime off. It's not my presentation, but
no, you brought up a good point about pricing, and I'm a little naive to the pricing because I don't pay for it. But I think Bluebeam's like $200 a year or something. It's I don't know what on screen costs, but anyway.
And some of the new estimating software programs now have their own on-screen versions that are integrated right into their estimating software, and that's the advantage of some of that newer software right now that's out there, is that you're not having to do data entry after you do your takeoff into a estimating program.
Yeah, we do have that with Destiny, where we do the takeoff inside the program and then link it directly to the pricing side. But we do still have on screen, and we do have Bluebeam, because sometimes you don't have to have a estimate set up and drawings loaded, and you need to do a quick takeoff, and then the estimating software is just too much for that. So it doesn't replace it.
So you mean owners don't give you enough time to do takeoff and pricing it properly? Never heard of such blasphemy.
I'm glad you're not the only one with that problem. So who is that uses Destiny?
Peric.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been to a lot of Destiny presentations, and they just about had me sold. We've gone down another path since then, but I really like the idea of tying your takeoff in with your. We use WinEst, so we'll do our takeoff and on screen and put it in WinEst. It's similar to Sage or Timberline or whatever else, or whatever Destiny's product is. It's kind of like your pricing database, but we've tried to link our 3D takeoff. I use Autodesk Assemble for 3D takeoff, and trying to link Assemble with WinEst is something that's been on our list for a while now, and it's something that Destiny tackled right off the bat.
Yeah, and it does the 3D, but again, with any model, it's really how it's set up, and if it's set up correctly, then yeah, it's very easy. I mean, we can highlight the whole, one element of the skin, and it will give you the quantity, and you tie it directly. You don't have to click around. You don't have to do anything. But the model needs to be prepped, and it's already hard to get things the way we want in drawings. You can only imagine having to dictate to the architect how the model needs to be prepped. It's very hard. We have to do it in-house sometimes.
Yeah, and I imagine if it's not shown in the model, you have to use on screen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if it's tagged incorrectly, or when you look at like a glazing assembly, it will give you quantity of glass and quantity of the aluminum, and that's not how we take it off, right? So there are some quirks, but I think especially on a design build project, if we own the architect and we have the power to tell them how we want it, then it's set up that way, so it makes our lives easier. But that's very rare.
Yeah, and that's if they listen.
Sure, there's that too.
Bob Adams has a question. It says, can we talk about how to get Wi-Fi on your phone?
Oh yeah, I guess it depends on which brand phone you have, but I use a Samsung, and it's just called a cellular hotspot. It's one of the settings. I swipe down from the top and hit cellular hotspot, and it takes some setting up to do. You have to set up, what if you want a 2.4 or 5 gigahertz signal, and what your password is. I won't tell you my password, but I'll set it up in the car on road trips, and that way everybody can use their iPads and such. But yeah, it's I couldn't really tell you how to do it on your phone, but something you should probably figure out. It does use all your data, so there's that. It's an IT question. You should ask the helpless desk.
I was going to say, if it's an iPhone, you can swipe up from the bottom of the phone, like towards the button, and swipe up, and then there's a Wi-Fi, like a shortcut to a lot of different, the flashlight, the calculator, and all those things. But there is in the upper left-hand corner, I'm looking at my phone right now, and there's a button to press that, you can turn off or on your Wi-Fi right there. There we go. John's being a lot smarter than I am right there. But
John is techno savvy.
But you can do that to turn it on and off. You have to set it up for the first time, but it's just something that the IT can help you one time, and then if you need to turn it on and off, it's right there. It should connect automatically, though, to your Wi-Fi once you set it up. And so it's good to do that for work and home. That way it's not using your data plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then on your computer, you just go search for available Wi-Fis, and your phone is one of those available things, and you connect to it that way.
Oh,
Hi, Fred.
Good morning.
morning. Okay, everybody, appreciate everybody attending.
Thank you very much, Mike. That was a great presentation.
All right, thanks.
Fred, did you have a
Thanks,
few
Mike.
things?
Anybody got any more questions of Mike? If not, Fred, you coming on board to speak about something called certification, ethics, or anything like that?
No, again, you can start certification any time, and if anybody wants to start it, Jason, what are you doing about your associate one? Have you done anything?
I have the book.
Huh?
I have the book. It's the first step, but I need to go back and restart that. I'm planning once it gets a little colder, being locked in the house. I'm hoping to dig into that a little deeper over the winter and hopefully getting that certification done. So
Okay, okay, because yeah, they're pretty lenient right now, so it's a good time to get in.
Get in, right?
I unfortunately started right at the beginning of this. Like back in I think March, I started the whole thing like right before all this started hitting, and it just was done after every day. I didn't need that extra thing, but now that's kind of settled into whatever it is now. It's a
Okay.
good time to start.
Okay, okay, that's all I got.
Okay. Let me see who, I gotta pull the screen down and see all the people on here. Do appreciate everybody's assistance. Here we go. Dustin, you got any comments or questions? You have to unmute him.
Jason's mute. Okay.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask Dustin if he had any comments or questions besides his blue beam one. There he is. Now here, Letitia, how about you? You got any comments, questions?
No, no comments, no questions, just hi, Fred.
Good morning.
Yeah, how come you haven't got her signed up yet, Fred?
We have Diane.
Pardon me?
Letitia, what?
She said that they have Diane.
Oh,
Mark Krogan, how you got any questions or extra comments you got?
Nope, that was a good presentation. Thank you for the info.
Appreciate that. Hey, Zach, how about you?
uh-oh.
Hello.
Duck hunting.
Yes, sir.
Not yet. Okay. Well, I just want to check with the new people that are on the call. I do appreciate everybody joining. Next month's meeting's on the 20th of November. Cameron Beatty will be the chair of that, and that'll be something in reference to what's pre-con services should we, and what pre-con service should we include and why it's not free topic. And Cameron will be pulling that together for next month's meeting. So hopefully we'll see everybody then, and then we'll have a break until January. Anybody have anything else?
Hey, John, Mark Krogan here again, and just wanted to comment to both you and Jason. I'm in Minneapolis, and my local chapter is not very active, and it's been great. I've been in the last couple meetings you guys have had now, and I just appreciate the invites, and it's been very informative and helpful, and good meetings, and you guys have a great time to, it's like perfect time, Friday morning, like 7 o'clock. It's just right at the start of the day, and so just wanted to say thank you, and I'll remain in the loop.
Mark, we appreciate anything we can do to help your chapter out in, getting the prodding going to get somebody like a young Jason Emmerich to, be our IT geek to where you can host these kind of things, because you need people who know how to. He's smiling over there, looking at you.
Hey, John.
It's an important aspect of having the younger generation involved to help us get through this, because I wouldn't have been able to host this thing. It would have taken a while, but
Absolutely.
As us old folks are starting to use it more, like Fred and Frank, I'm thinking anybody can do it now, so.
Yeah. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
John, did you want to tell about the other district meetings or other chapter meetings on Zoom?
The other
Actually,
chapter meetings that I've seen, I know we got, there it is. We got a regional meeting tomorrow up in the Northeast. I won't be attending that one, but I would probably be going to the Northwest, Southwest region on the 24th. What's nice about joining these is you get to see how they're handling their regional meetings. Some of these chapter meetings, it depends. The West Coast guys seem to be a little bit ahead of the game on their meetings. They've got some very savvy guys out there who have had some Zoom breakout meetings like we did for the national conference. So they're all struggling. They're all hitting this pandemic estimating stuff. And it's a big deal because how do you do estimating in this pandemic world? Personally, I'm in the office, as most of you can probably see my background. Most of our staff in the construction group here is in the office. So we social distance, we wear a mask, but we also trust who we're working with. They're not out running around and hanging out in the bars and going places. And, you know, I think everybody's going to catch this virus flu bug that we have. That's unfortunate. It's a real nasty one. Last night I had a headache, but it wasn't from that. It's because I had so much stress yesterday and no drinking water. So we all need to take care of ourselves and monitor our bodies in this pandemic world, because we're all stressing, because it is a difficult situation to get bids and talk to people. You can't hold a meeting without standing 5,000 feet away. So anybody has any ideas of how to hold a meeting? Like, I want to have an in-person meeting with everybody on the board and then also down the road. But some people have, you know, past medical issues that would prevent them. Well, I can understand that. I've got some past medical issues that prevent me from running a marathon anymore. So we just need to continue to move on in this world so that we can move the society along a lot better. So if you get an opportunity, go to our critical calendar. Jason has taken the time to put the national stuff on there, and go to those. Go join them. I'm sure some of them are free, some of them are going to cost, but understand that these are for few of us that have the CPE designation, and I know Everett's already got his done. These are points that you can get for your CPE renewal. Okay. It's a lot easier now by doing that, because I don't have to drive to Fort Wayne, Indiana and spend 14 hours in a vehicle, 7 up and 7 back. That's a hard drive. I can do it virtually. And I think I want to attend more of these as long as I can get to the times and dates that they have. So obviously everybody on this board and within the chapter and even the non-members here, please take the time to do it. You might learn something new from one of your competitors out there. I learned something new today. I won't tell you what though.
And John, did you talk about the national awards that, you know, the awards we got and how good the response was on the national side? And there was like 100 people on the Zoom meeting that night.
I didn't talk about it this meeting. I talked about it the last month's meeting.
Yeah.
I've got our goal. Yeah, there. Jason pulls it up. There's the awards. You got my mug shot up there at the award though, Jason. Where's mine?
I don't think I have that readily, but I should.
Man, I'm gonna have to send it out. I had to move it because I had a meeting in here the other day. Those who can see this, I'm walking back over. This is what we ended up with from National, and it's one of those stand-up things you put in front of your desk and stuff, so everybody sees it. I'm sure everybody's bored of that, but that's a great award to get, and I take it to the board from last year, and I challenge the board from this year to try to get another one. It's going to take a little more effort because of the COVID stuff, but I think we can do it because we have a great person who pulled it together last year, and that was Cindy and Mary. So hopefully this year, while Mary's sitting home with her baby, she can do a lot of this administrative stuff that needs to be done. And as a team, as the board, we need to look at those awards that we did last year and start picking them off so we get them taken care of. So.
And if you liked what you saw today, you know, becoming a member is fairly easy. Just jump to the ASPE national page, which, I mean, I've even got linked on our page here too. You can just get right to it there. But you can join as an affiliate member or an estimator, you know, whichever way you want to. pretty big value compared to some of the other memberships and affiliations that are out there. You know, $370 is extremely competitive. And you get to network with other estimators and other GCs, you know, not only just locally, but nationally. So that's just something that's out there for you guys.
Yeah, and Frank always talks about it. If you're doing work out of town, like we are currently got a job in Oklahoma, I'm calling on the Oklahoma people to help me get some bids together, and also talk to them about, you know, partnering up on the work. So this book, the hard copy, I like because I got it here and I keep notes in it. But you can get that if you're a member. You can get in there and find the people out there. And this book, I know Brett attest to it. He could call up somebody in Oklahoma right now and talk to them, and they know who he is because they've met him at National. They've seen him for years. And it's an important factor if you're a nationwide contractor like McCarthy and Perrick is, and waiting to see Cameron, see Holland get to be more national. So it's important that you guys understand that we're trying to grow the society overall, but we're also growing our chapter. Our chapter's gotten fairly good. We're about 32 to 35 people, but of those 32 to 35, 5 and 6 of them are students. Next year we'll lose the 5 that we had last year. So though I'm not counting students in our numbers, but I think we need to try to get this membership, you know, consistently staying the same, or at least grow a person or two, like a Letitia or, you know, Mike Stewart, you know, try to get new members in here because it does help our chapter grow. And this meeting we just had, Mike, I appreciate you stepping in, helping out, bailing Everett out on this endeavor. So
Everybody does.
Well, other than that, I do appreciate everybody's time. I know it's an early morning Friday. I've got 2 bids to yank together, so my phone's been going crazy in here, and that wasn't mine vibrating. I think that was Jason's.
Well, John, I was one of your situations. I was trying to get a bid out this morning.
Yeah.
So
Mine don't go until noon and 3 today. So, but now I got to catch up on the 15 calls I got in the last hour or so.
okay.
If anybody's got any questions, email them to me or Jason. The presentation, Mike, was very well, and we'll be posting this on our, would you post last month's, Jason? On our website?
I didn't post the meetings, but I will find a place to do that. Yeah, give me a little bit, but I should be able to get another page up here that has all of our videos on it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, guys.
I appreciate
Thank you,
it,
guys.
everybody. And all
Have a good weekend.
have a good weekend and a safe one. Hey, Jason, if we can hang on just a minute.